If you haven't already done so, download the GameFace 8. Let's complete your player info. Your background sets the stage for who you are, both on and off the court.
Drop an EP on it for the free on it. Yeah, you ZZ on it, king like BB on you. Yeah. If it wasn't for the struggle, then I wouldn't be me. Call me Deuce or Dose, anything but broke. Got my aim from the scope, got the game by the throat.
Okay, you popped up on me by surprise. And see, I never took you for the popping type. It's 4 a.m., so please believe the hype. Hit the lights, I'm way over top. Pop it, flick it, drop a pin, send a location. I'ma pull up in that spaceship. Drop off a listen. I'ma you 4 a.m., see if you make it.
Ooh, I drop College Grove out the sky. Ooh, in a group with the best rapper that's alive. Ooh, never turn my back on my slime. Ooh, I ain't wanna, but she was fine. Ooh, hold up, let me take my time. Ooh, hard to get some shit and try to drive. Ooh, jumping out the cake and that's surprising. Ooh, up the duffel bag like exercising. Ooh, bought my mom new house cause she deserve it. Ooh, practice makes perfect, but nobody's perfect. Ooh, not open for service. Ooh, send you to Dr. Miami for your surgery. Ooh.
Okay, you popped up on me by surprise. And see, I never took you for the popping type. It's 4 a.m., so please believe the hype. Hit the lights, I'm way over top. Pop it, flick it, drop a pin, send a location. I'ma pull up in that spaceship. Drop off a listen. I'ma you 4 a.m., see if you make it.
TT on the crew neck. Ooh, on the killer rapper spraying units. Ooh, they talk.
Let's start creating your look. If you haven't already done so, your hairstyle says a lot about your look. Let's choose yours.
Really, represented, we the squad, really. Take, got Nelly, get it. I used to get it for a living. Got me a job selling records. Had to use a jeweler for a record. Might buy a charm with the extra.
Okay, you popped up on me by surprise. And see, I never took you for the popping type. It's 4 a.m., so please believe the hype. Hit the lights, I'm way over top. Pop it, flick it, drop a pin, send a location. I'ma pull up in that spaceship. Drop off a listen. I'ma you 4 a.m., see if you make it.
Beard, scruff, or clean shaven, your path to facial hair greatness starts here.
Now I pay nothing for my sneakers cause I'm Nav. He can't get a feature so he mad. I ain't nothing like these rappers, they won't last. I don't wanna call her, now she's sad. Cause I'm getting money and living fast. Every time I dress I'm popping tags. And every time I'm buying I'm paying cash. Mixing up designer I don't match. Yeah, I'm dressing bathing ape that you don't have.
Now it's time to decide what kind of player you want to be. First, let's choose your player type. Guard, wing. Now, let's define your style of play. Now, it's time to choose your player's height and weight. Every choice you make here will affect your player's physical capabilities, both good and bad. So choose wisely before you lock in.
Remember going crazy on a paper chase. Now we got cash inside the safe. Get out of line and I'ma put you in your place. She said she love my music and she wanna see my face. He said you want a feature, get this broke boy out my way. If you become a problem, make a call. I remember being broken down bad. Now I pay nothing for my sneakers cause I'm Nav. He can't get a feature, so he mad. I ain't nothing like these rappers, they won't last. I don't wanna call it, now she sad. Cause I'm getting money, and living fast.
Like millions of other kids, you dreamed of one day being in the NBA. You wanted to be a star, and someday to rise above and become the greatest to ever play. You dreamed of being the one. But the road to stardom is never easy. There are obstacles, injuries, and disappointments. Adversity is universal. It can happen to anyone at any time. And one day, it happened to you. You went from being a guaranteed lottery pick to a kid who may never even play college ball again.
Now, look, it's always bad to hear about injuries, especially to college kids, of course.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. Smith, this one is particularly disheartening because we are 2 weeks into the season and one of the top NBA prospects in the country goes down potentially with a season.
The devastating injury. It's never good to have something like this.
Your name is still mentioned, not as a prospect, but as a cautionary tale.
Now, there's another huge story in this year's draft. A record number of underclassmen, 30 of them.
You got to go on a case-by-case basis. Some dudes deserve to be one and dones. Some people don't. It's on a case-by-case basis.
And that is my point. Thank you.
He was pretty good. Here's the problem. The NBA, it's not about pretty good. You need to be great on the collegiate level, on the prep level, in summer leagues and what have you, in order for you to get the stature that you deserve. That's the bottom line. Pretty good ain't good enough to be that stud NBA.
That's
is it
exactly my point.
Let me finish. There's another example. I did say the Hype brothers. I wasn't talking about one individual. I was talking about two. What happens? One and done in a different way. 1 year, one ACL injury later, and look where he's at now. His future is clearly uncertain. So you got to take advantage of that opportunity because you never know when an injury is going to cost you everything.
Stephen A., listen to yourself. Let's listen to yourself for a second. You give one.
Strong enough, that's all that matters. That's number one. Number two, the Hype brothers was something special. What they really, really need to do. I'm going to tell you what they need to do, Max. They need to get back to playing together. My sources are telling me the ACL injury has been completely healed. So go on a Pro-Am circuit. Go in summer leagues. Do what you got to do to get back on the court together to remind everybody of what you once were. Because once you pull that off, the sky's the limit. That's what they need to do. Get back to playing ball together because when people see what you can do as one, the other arguments don't really matter. Like I said, don't sweat the technique.
This is New York City, the mecca of basketball. The original Rucker League began here in 1947. 9 years later, the tournament found a permanent home uptown at PS 156 Playground. Those early Rucker days showcased talents like Lou Alcindor, Wilt the Stilt, and Earl the Pearl. It's also where Julius Erving became the Doctor. In 1974, the park was respectfully renamed Holcomb Rucker Park in honor of the tournament founder. Now, many have influenced the growth of the Rucker since, but none more heavily than the late great Greg Marius, founder of the EBC. Many would argue that the Ruck is the birthplace of true street ball and the crossover dribble. Considering New York City's penchant for flashy guard play, there are few who can challenge that. After the legendary exploits of Rucker alumni like Rod Strickland, Rafer Alston, and Kyrie Irving, it goes without saying that getting crossed up or banged on can happen to anybody at any given moment here. It's no wonder that this unassuming uptown playground has become the most widely recognized street ball court in the world. Rucker Park, Harlem.